Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Land back.
Land back, y'all.
Welcome. It's our last section of our Young Lords Reader book trap.
Oh, already.
I know, right? This was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so glad to share this with y'all. And because we're glad to share it with you, I want you to share the video. So when
Yes,
you get in, share the video. Hey, land back.
land
Land back.
back.
Well, you know, it's a dream. Yes, land back. When you get into this room, share in the comments, hashtag shared when you shared it. Hey, land back, Segun.
Share it up, please, y'all. We want as many people to see this as possible. This political education, we can't just keep it to ourselves. We got to share it with the world. And a lot of people actually find us through the book trap. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, the book trap is like one of our most viewed things. It goes to people like Chief I was saying around the world, and we have viewership everywhere. And so we want to make sure that we share this. Hey, land back, Moxley. Yeah, and this is our last book trap for this book. So this is the last chance for some people to hear about the Young Lords from us. Oh, hey, land back, Stevie.
flattery will get you everywhere.
uh, yes. So share when you get in here. Land back, Muhammadu. Land back. Good morning. Let's get as many people in this room as possible. We want this to be our most filled up live. So watch on Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
Get in the room. Make sure that you're
share it up, y'all.
Get your offices and committee members. Get your families. Get your friends. Put it up on your TV. Put it up on your phone while you're cooking your eggs. Do what you got to do to get this political education and get your morning started.
Right? Yeah, I want to share it up too.
Yeah, no, I'm about to share.
Multitask.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it to. I think I have 10 groups I can share it to, so I'm about to share it right now. Hey, and also like when you hey, lay back, Robert. Yeah, no, like we when we're sharing, we want to make sure that we're giving to anybody, right? Don't feel like, oh, will this cousin of mine be interested in this? Will this old teacher of mine actually care? You don't know unless you share it with them, and so share it with everybody you can.
You literally never know. You never know.
Yeah,
right now.
Eating eggs. See, I told you, I know y'all are eating your eggs right now with this book trap. It's the morning, y'all. Like you're trying to wake up, get yourselves energized because you're gonna do outreach today. I got my Black Panther hoodie now because it's kind of cold out now. So I got my Ice Princess gear ready to rain out in these streets, but with my winter gear. All right, hey, laying back, Lay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And as people are sharing, want to make sure that we are also, getting some donations to Hammer City. So, as everyone's been watching, this year it's getting colder. And it's getting colder out there, right? Yeah. Winter is here. It's already going to be in the face of our people, along with these rising numbers of coronavirus. And we want to make sure that we get money for Hammer City as well. So if you are coming into the room, let's hope you can give us a donation to Hammer City. It's Cash App and Venmo. Build Hammer City. So $ Build Hammer City for Cash App. Just at Build Hammer City for Venmo or GoFundMe.com/Build Hammer City. And we always be getting those donations. Our goal today is $100. So
do it.
Get $100. I want more than that though, because it's the last one with the Young Lords. Like, what are the Young Lords inspiring you to do? How have the Young Lords inspired you to build for your people? How have the Young Lords inspired you to continue this work? Show that materially, show that through your work, and show that through what resources you can give, whether that's your time, your money to help build Hammer City, right? So let's get those donations in as well. Laying back, Ali, I see y'all up in there.
Woo!
Oh, man, everyone says we look great. I'm like,
thank you. Okay, I just shared to like 50 groups. So let's get this started, y'all. Remember to share. Remember to donate. I'm always the first to donate in the book trap usually. So who's gonna be the first to donate this morning? I could be the second, but
yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Who's gonna be that person who Chief I steps up, knows that like they want to contribute and get this political education going, who's going to be that person for us today? Because Chief I is in the host room with us, So hey, thank you for sharing, Ali. Who's going to be that person just like Chief I? We all should be like aspiring to be like someone like Chief I, who is like ready to work for our people and lead our people. All right, so who's going to be that example and give us a donation of $5, $10, whatever they can this morning before we get started? What I'm going to do is maybe I should aspire to be like Chief I, and I'm going to donate first. I'm going to donate $5. I'm going to donate $5.
Let me find out. Go on, Chief. Let me put it this way, y'all. This time next year, we could $25.
Hey.
Salute Chief Ali. Y'all, if we donate, if we get this out, if we share this time next year, we could be walking through the food forest. And in Florida, we can be warm, we can be safe, we can have housing for thousands of folks. We can have our families in Hammer City. Only if we share and donate now. We got to put in the work now so we can get it in this time next year. Thank you, Chief.
Hey. Thank you for pledging. Yes, if you can't donate right now, you can pledge. You can give money later. We know we're colonized. We know you have those contradictions around having money all the time, of course. So if you want to pledge, you can pledge at Hammer City. Again, the city is, thank you for pledging 10 pounds. Right? I think is that pounds? Or is that
pounds?
Oh, yeah. Be global, y'all. Be global.
We got euros, pesos, yen, yuan. We got it all.
We got it all. All colonized people will give this money to build Hammer City, because we are trying to build this city where there's be no rent, no coronavirus, no cops, and just for colonized people, right? So because it's all for us and for our own building of our own power, right? Because we believe we need control over our land, lives, power, and resources. And so this is also an act of returning the land to indigenous people. We have the genocidal celebration this Thursday of Thanksgiving, right? Mm-hmm. This like celebration, quote unquote, of like the genocide of the original stewards of this land, right? And of course, this is a time where a lot of colonized people feel like they only have the chance to get together because colonialism makes us work so much that we don't really get a chance to actually connect with our communities. So, of course, we have that, but we have to remember that this is also a celebration of that genocide. And so you have to remind not just yourself of that, but remind your people of that. And one way you can remind your people about that is helping indigenous people get their land back, right? That's an act that you can do to overturn that contradiction, to overturn the contradiction of Thanksgiving. I know you out there always complaining about it, but this time now it's time to act, right? So always donate to Hammer City, and also get the reparations, get the Queen of England out and whoever gave those pounds, get that Queen of England to give that reparations back. Hey, thank you for $10,
Lay. Yes, man. If we got them jewels, we could build 10 Hammer Cities. Just
right, for real. Exactly. All right. Well, let's get started. I think that was good. A good amount of donations. Thank you all for donating. Keep sharing. I want to see those numbers on Facebook and YouTube go up. So keep sharing. But before we get started, I'm going to introduce I'm not sure which side, this side. I want to introduce my co-host here, Chief I, who is my co-host for my last book chapter, The Young Lords. Chief I, you want to introduce yourself?
That's right. Thank you, Chief Oju. So I'm Chief I represent the nation of Africa. I use he, him pronouns. I joined Black Hammer because, I'm trying to get all colonized folks free. And I just really love the work that we do. I'm so excited to be here. I've watched just about every book trap since I've joined. And so it's an honor to be here, really. I'm so excited to get into this. This book trap has been amazing, Chief Oju. You've been killing it. You've been doing the thing. And yeah, it's been amazing to see.
Hey, no, thank you. And it's exciting. The book trap's exciting because it's a chance for us to get political education for people who are learning it in the moment, right? Like sometimes we're always so used to just hearing people who know stuff and then they like regurgitate it back, but we're all learning together here. And that's what I really like about the book trap. And we can learn as all colonized people together and as members. So yeah, let's get into our first read that back. Let's get into the book, y'all. We read chapters 11 and 12, the last two chapters of the book. And basically, you know, we learned a lot about the programs that the Young Lords did and kind of like how they finally manifested as like the Puerto Rican Revolutionary Workers Organization. That's what we learned. And this first Read That Back, I think is like just so important for the work that we do at Black Hammer and for what we have to think of ourselves as revolutionaries. So it says, as servants of the people, revolutionaries, we have committed ourselves wholeheartedly to the development of our nation of Borinquen and all humanity. We understand that our people can only be educated through observation and participation. The YLO arrived at this conclusion not because we think that people are stupid, but because so many groups or individuals have used us so much, like politicians use workers, that even our own people didn't give a damn about listening to the Lord's political program. We had to show our people what we were all about and not talk so much. After seeing what we were all about by example, our people got involved, at first in El Barrio, in the struggle for liberation. Soon, all Puerto Ricans will join in because it will take all of us to free ourselves from the mental and physical chains this government has us under. Yes, like this is like so much of principle unity number 4, right? Like we are the true leadership and the colonized proletariat are the true leadership. And then we have to win all of our people into being leaders in our organization, in the revolution. And what we do that through is through action and not talking. Like, I don't know how many organizations might have like just tons of discussions. They might read books and discuss, but not a lot of acting. Hey, land back here, so. A lot of just like acting is not just a lot of talking, right? Is what a lot of these organizations are be doing. And one thing I appreciate about Black Hammer, one reason I joined is because I saw that there was talk and there was action, and the talk was so we can learn how to do the action better, right? Not just to like share our ideas and just kind of develop our own theories just for fun, right? It was developing theory and science and practice so that we can do the work better. And that's what the Young Lords were doing. Like they were like picking up garbage. They were giving free breakfast and free clothes to the people because they were trying to not just take care of the people, but take care of the people and help them survive until they could be as part of the revolution, right? That's a survival pending revolution mantra. And so, I'm glad that the Young Lords were on that page and that they understood that.
That's right. Yeah, it's not just about, doing charity work, and it's not just about theory. It's like you have to materially meet what the people need, but you also have to push that anti-colonial, that revolutionary line at the same time. So you want to feed them, food, and then you want to feed them that revolutionary thought as well, so that we have the means to overturning the conditions that put us here in the first place, right? We're not just trying to focus on the symptoms. We're trying to go to the root. And the root of it is colonialism. The root of it is our disconnection from the land. Once we get that power back, we'll be able to overturn all of these contradictions, and we'll be able to build that trust, build that faith in one another as well, because that has also been severed. And, the Young Lords organization, they saw that when they would go out to the community at the very beginning and people were not trying to listen. Black Hammer, we experience that too sometimes. We go out, we do outreach. You like, hey, here's a free mask. We have some free food, free clothes, and people, sometimes they're a bit like, what do you want from me? You trying to get me to vote? Yeah. So it takes like you constantly going out there. You have to build that connection, build that community with people. It's not just something on face value, but it's something deep and profound. Our connection with each other, our connection with the land. But it takes time. It takes time.
That's true. Yeah, it takes time and practice, and like that's so true that when like we go out, our people are hesitant at first, right? Like I remember like giving out like masks, and someone was like, "What do I gotta do?" Like that's like, and I hear that multiple times. What do I gotta do for it? What I gotta do for it? And it's because the only way our people are organized is to like be exploited to receive things, right? And that's like the only relationship to like receiving help is being exploited to get that help, and that's what exactly like you're saying. That's what we're trying to overturn. That's our goal, is to get our people's dictatorship over their land and their lives and labor and resources back, so that when they are needing something that they need for themselves, that it's because it's because that they just need it, and not because they need it because it's being taken away from them, right? Like I'm hungry just because I'm hungry. Not I'm hungry because the state does not allow me to have the resources to not be hungry, right? And I think that's what we're overturning. And the Young Lords were doing that as well. And I think it's important to think about the ways our people are organized already, right? Our people are organized to vote. Our people are organized to work against each other, to be violent horizontally with each other. Our people are just organized to do so much stuff that's out against their interests. And what we're doing is we're organizing our people for our collective interests. And we have to remember that when you're doing outreach and when you're out there, Hammers, that what you're doing is taking your people back, like our commander-in-chief, as I said in one rally, right? We're taking our people back from the ways they have been organized and are organizing them under our umbrella, because we know that what we're offering the people is something to develop their own interests.
Yeah. And to provide that example of, that solidarity from a stranger, that community from a stranger, right? How many times do you get shown kindness from a stranger, like materially? Yeah, someone may open a door for you, but when's the last time someone's provided a whole meal for you or provided protection for you that you didn't know? But by us going into communities and doing that and showing that, we're planting that seed of this is what our society could look like. If we come together, if we provide for each other and we start doing it now, working up to it, this is what our entire society could look like. It doesn't have to look like violence against each other. It doesn't have to look like division. That's something that we were indoctrinated in, but that's not natural. And we have to remind people, or not even remind people, because they may not even have experienced that. We have to show people that this isn't our truth.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, and people don't want it to be the truth. Even people who might not understand why it might be happening to them, why colonialism is happening to them, or understand that's what is happening to them. They don't want to accept it as truth. That's why we always are seeking out answers elsewhere. That's why colonized people are seeking out like a lot of organized religion. People are organizing churches, right? Right. And we have to go where our people are organized. We have to go where our people are trying to find answers and meet them there, right? Revolutionary Salute. We have to go where our people are, and that's what the Young Lords were doing. They were going to the churches. That's why they took over that church in El Barrio. They were going to the corners, right, where people were shooting up, right? They were going to every single part of their community where people were being organized to do something else to win them back, and they were going to everybody. That's also the lesson, right? Like, I know some of y'all want to focus on like your college campus, for some of our people who are members, who are students, you want to organize your campus, and you're like, okay, I'm good. I got people who understand colonialism. It's like, no, the people who understand it the best are the most exploited people under this system. They understand best what this system and its violence does to our people. So yeah, I think like the Young Lords, they really did understand that. But we'll see, as we get to this end of this book, that they kind of started to go away from that, and they started to really get further and further away from the mass collection of people, from the masses, the huge collection of their people, and started to pinpoint too much on one segment, thinking that was the answer. They weren't being very scientific. But before we get to that, we want to get audience read that backs. We want to get audience read that backs now during the show. So today we're going to get read that backs from people who are watching right now. So if you have your quotes, get them ready. We want to hear one like right now too. If you got it, we want to see what quote stuck out to you. Could be from any point of these two chapters, and we'll talk about it. So as people are getting that together and putting it into the comments of Facebook or YouTube. For Chief I, like in terms of like the way that you try to win people when you are doing outreach, what's something that you struggle with, like in terms of winning the people? Because like how the Young Lords are saying, like people feel like they're being used so much. So what's one thing that you do to make people feel like they're not being used by you and being, that they're actually hearing something for themselves, for their interests?
Yeah. Well, I let them know that the whatever I'm giving out, it's not conditional on, them giving something to me. It's free. Yeah, you can sign up for more information about like the work that Black Hammer does outside of outreach. Yeah, you can sign up for PPE deliveries, but if you don't want to do that, you can still get the mask. It's still free. You know, there's no conditions on it. I'm here for y'all, just like y'all are here for me when I need it. You know, just really hammering down that line. Oh, we got to read that back.
Oh, hey, okay, awesome. But no, but thank you for sharing that, Chief. I think it's important to see like how our practice and how we learn from our practice. But yes, Taliba I'll read that back. So on the first day, I know what this is talking about. On the first day, the center held 50 to 60 children, the sons and daughters of patients, workers, and visitors. The children ranged in age from 6 months to 12 years. The parents were pleased and they asked, why hadn't anyone thought of this before? What took so long for a center to open? This is beautiful. What some of these parents didn't realize was that this was not the result of individual action. This was united power. The power of the people created this daycare center. This daycare center. That's under the quote. Yes, I that was one of my read that backs too, Taliba. I got the underlined. I got the highlighted. Y'all see because book. Yes, like the Young Lords opened up a whole childcare center, y'all. Like, and of course you could think, like, was it just babysitting? No, it was a whole childcare center. Right, and that like the parents in El Barrio were trying to figure out why didn't the community already have something like this? You know, there's so many kids. It's a huge, dense neighborhood in East Harlem, right? And so like they were wondering where is this child center, and what the Young Lords were trying to teach them was like, well, it wasn't that we just provided it; you helped build it too, right? Yeah. This is exactly again in line with the fourth principle of unity. Like you helped build this. Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Chief I?
Yeah, just really honing in on that. Thank you. That's so and if I'm correct, it was for like a hospital too, right? It was by a hospital. Mm-hmm. So for anybody who needed access to healthcare or healthcare workers, for their children, they had a place to drop them off. I don't know if you realize, but like if you're a parent and you have to go to the hospital, you either have to bring all your kids with you or you have to find someone to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And that costs money, finding, a babysitter or something like that. And then you're not able to receive the medical attention that you need. So by doing that, by collectively coming together and doing that, it really showed, one, providing that aid to the community, but also like, this is what we can accomplish when we work together. And it wasn't like this, like people were saying, like this was some genius idea or anything like that. This is just what people needed, and they just didn't have the means to access it, right? So like when we're given something, it's not necessarily like this is like some amazing genius, like next level ideas that we're providing for the contradictions that we go through. And because we're in a system that is constantly depriving us, constantly forcing us to make do or to figure it out, when you get that moment to breathe, when you get that moment of grace, it just feels like the entire world has opened up in that moment. And so I love that the Young Lords, they were able to do this, to provide this, because it was just a taste of what true liberation looks like, where it's not just someone to take care of your kids when you have to go to work, but you don't have to pay rent. You're not exploited. You don't have to work 14 hours a day. You don't have to, pay to commute on an awful public transportation system that takes you hours to get to where you have to go because it's underfunded. It doesn't have resources. Like, imagine where everything we need, every problem we have, we come together and figure out a solution. Like collective brilliance, that is so real. That is so real. One person may not have the answer, but I'm sure one out of or like 1,000 people in the community, they'll have a solution, and everybody can work together to flesh it out and make it even more amazing, even more better for the collective. So yeah, it was just a taste, and that just shows what organization for the community can do versus organization for colonialism.
Yes, exactly. And that collective brilliance is so important. For instance, like a lot of the Young Lords members were like really, really, really young, and most of them weren't parents, right? And so how exactly were they supposed to know exactly what young kids needed in terms of daily healthcare, right? And so it's the parents that said, hey, like, this is what I need, this is what my child needs, this is what I need provided, and them bringing that knowledge, bringing their own brilliance is what built it, right? We're not like doing charity, right? We're not just giving out, we're building. Mm-hmm. And that's what our focus always has to be. Just like I was talking about, this was grown out of the hospital, right? And the young lords asked once, like, can we have the child care center? And Lincoln Hospital said no. And so they're okay, we're gonna make one, right? Did they spend months and years lobbying Lincoln Hospital to open their child care center? Did they try to get a politician elected to finally give the tax dollars to open up the child care center? No, right? They didn't do all that. What they did is they built it themselves. And the people got surprised at themselves and said, wow, like, how come we haven't had this before? Because you just learned that you could build for yourself and do it pretty easily when you all come together, right? It's actually a lot easier than we think it is. We overcomplicate it sometimes. It's easy. It's easy. It's hard because colonialism makes it hard. But it's easy for us to build because we are a smart, brilliant, capable people, right? Our colonized brothers and sisters are smart and capable. And we have to always remember that, and that every single one person, whether they are running the bodega, out shooting up on the street, or just a mom working, that every single one of our people can contribute to this, right? Yeah, only your community will be there for you, right? Because it's our community that has been exploited. So we know what we need for each other. And and I think we'll say that, read that back from Lay for later, but yes, keep that. But yeah, exactly. The only your community will be there for you, and I think that goes perfectly into our next read that back, about someone who was in the community in El Barrio who was being there. They weren't a young lord member, right? But they were trying to be there for their people. So go ahead, Chief I.
I'm back. All right. So this read that back is Free Martin Sostre. Martin Gonzalez Sostre is a political prisoner serving a 41-year sentence in jail. His crime is opening an Afro-Asian bookshop in a Black community in Buffalo and beginning to educate that community about the struggles of poor people in the U.S. and around the world. He saved money to run the store by working at the Bethlehem steel plant. Soon, it became a place where the people of the community could come to learn their history. From the beginning, the FBI and the local police tried to intimidate him. Periodically, the pigs would smash the front windows, destroying displayed posters, and the firemen would ransack the inside of the store, destroying the literature. In the summer of 1967, the Black community exploded in 3 days of rebellion and ending in the arrest of 259 people. During the rebellion, Martin kept his store open late into late into the night, providing refuge for the people from the tear gas being sprayed by the police. Afterwards, the cops were determined to do away with Martin. On July 14th, several carloads of pigs stormed the store, arrested Martin and Geraldine Robinson, a co-worker and mother of 5 children. Then Martin Gonzalez Sostre was charged with riot, arson, possession of narcotics, and assault. Woo! So this one really, really stood out to me because one, it shows how this colonial system has historically been afraid of colonized solidarity and collectivity, right? Martin Sostre, he built a bookshop around like Afro-Asian, unity and history, and he was politically educating the community. This Afro-Borican comrade was targeted and terrorized by the state because he sought to spread that political education on our history, where we came from, and that's power. So it doesn't matter what the laws are, because under this colonial system, they're going to do whatever it takes to reinforce that control and power. The fire department would terrorize Sostre, not just the pigs. The state, it's going to enact any violence, through whatever apparatus it needs at the time, whether that's healthcare, education, the firefighters. Under this system, it's all colonial. Yeah. That's why Black Hammer maintains that we need dictatorship over our lives, land, labor, and resources. This way, colonized people, we can create that system that actually does take care of us, where we have firefighters that don't harass us, where we have teachers that don't tell us we're stupid. And this can only be done through our leadership, through the leadership of the poor working class colonized community. Only we know what we need and how we need to get it done. So yeah, that really stood out to me. I was like, wait, the firefighters would just pull up?
Hey, no, like Sean was saying, firefighters are pigs too. Like I think of like where did the hoses come from to like hose down Africans in the South? Where the move bombing, like who let the fire burn, right? It was the Philadelphia police fire department, right? They as much of an apparatus of the state as any other apparatus of the state. Yep. And so, like, and just like that, they were ransacking Martin Sostres' store and like charged them with how many felonies, right? Like narcotics, assault, all that stuff, because they saw someone who was protecting their community. And we have to remember that when we are, out there with our people, like, these people aren't members. Like he wasn't a young lord, right? This was in Buffalo. There are plenty of Boricua people in Buffalo, and there are young lords in Buffalo. But it wasn't that he was a member. He wasn't like, I'm a revolutionary and I have this bookstore because I am trying to win my people to revolution. He didn't say it outright, but the state still targeted him, right? Firefighters be on the same lives matter, right? Yep. Other people like Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, none of them were part of revolutionary organizations, but the state will still always target our people. And that's why we have to remember that whether or not we're doing this work, the state targets us. Whether we're doing this work or not, the state is going to come for you because you are a colonized person, right? So why not be with an organization? Why not be a part of something and work to get control of your life while the state targets you already in the first place? And so join at blackhammer.org/join. If this is the first time you're watching, like that's how you get to be a part of this organization. Blackhammer.org/join. And if do it because there's nothing to lose and everything to gain by having an organization to be with and to help you organize yourself, so that when you are targeted, whether that's through the healthcare system, whether that is through the pigs, through the police, whether that's through the schools, however that you're targeted, that you can be protected, right? And so, join. And I think, this is a great read that back, because it really shows that people who just want to like teach our own people about ourselves, they become such a target for the state, because they don't want us to learn about ourselves. They don't want us to learn our history, because that history frees us. And this is why we have the book trap, y'all, because we are trying to learn our revolutionary past, our revolutionary history, and learn from it, and actually clean up the mistakes and pick out the good stuff so that we can do it even better, right? So, like we should live in the spirit of Martin Sostre, right? We should live in the spirit of the educators and the young lords. We should live in that spirit and, do whatever it takes until they say no more, right? I appreciate that a lot. And and if you appreciate that, we want to make sure that you are like helping be in the spirit of Martin Sostre and give us some donations or reparations to build Hammer City. I think if Martin Sostre, was able to do all that and then experience all of that violence just because they wanted to open a bookstore, imagine what it takes to start a city, right? Martin Sostre just literally had a bookstore in Buffalo, New York. Imagine what it means to create a city for colonized people and give the land back to its original stewards, right? Like if the state comes for the bookstore, imagine what happens to a movement, right? That is trying to give people back their land. And that's why we need resources. And those resources include money, and those resources include people to help make sure that we are protecting ourselves and building for ourselves so that we can sustain ourselves on this land. And so give us that, give us that moolah. Oh, that's a horrible word. I wish I didn't say moolah. It's in the Rihanna way. Moolah.
Get someone else who does have it. Get some reparations from your colonizer friends, your colonizer family members.
Yeah, no, like, oh, hey, here's who's got $4.44 on it.
Okay, Beyonce with the 4.
All right, and who gonna match? Who gonna match the 444? You can round up to 5. Our goal is $100. Like we said, this is our last book trap, y'all, for this specific book. So, we want to go out big. So if you got $10 to pledge or $10 to give today, we would love to see it. Like we said, we global. We got some pounds too. I think they convert into more dollars.
Yeah, they do.
So I want to make sure that we get as many people up into here as possible, and make sure that we get these funds. I think one reason that I want Hammer City built is because there's so much evictions right now, right? Like there's so many people getting evicted, and they keep pushing some moratoriums in some of these cities. They keep saying, "Oh, you won't get evicted yet. You won't get evicted yet," but our people can't be living with that uncertainty. They have to have something certain for themselves. They have to have something solid to look forward to, so that they know that they're going to be safe and housed and have some kind of roof over their heads. And that's going to be Hammer City. So, contribute to this, y'all. Hey, Ndu, thank you for $5. Thank you. Land back to you, and land back to all of us. So, really, keep sharing. Yeah, if you are not donating right now, share again. I want you to share again. That's true. You know me. I'm always like, if you shared it once, share it again. I share it on my own page, and then I start a watch party, and then I share it again. So I'm not sure if that messes up with some algorithms, but I'm just trying to share it as much as possible. So I want you to share it again. Let us know when you did share it again. And while we're getting donations, I want to look at Lay's Read That Back. Because let's look at Lay's Read That Back while we're getting more donations. And so while we're talking, I still want to see those donations come in. This Read That Back is from page 226. So it says, Chief Ari, you want to read this one?
Yeah, I got it. The hospital was forced to deal with the demand because they couldn't fight the community and workers. So the ex-addicts, workers, and community people did the work themselves with the help of one doctor. When more doctors volunteered, they negotiated for the program to be funded. The administration threatened to close the program 2 or 3 times, but 3,000 addicts mobilized against the threat. Some people might ask, what makes this program different from other programs? I can't see the rest of it.
That's the end of that quote.
Okay.
I got it. I got it here on my book. Oh, so $10 on it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. We're back. This is from the section of chapter 11 that talks about the Young Lords addiction counseling programs, right? So the Young Lords, they knew that many of their people were shooting up heroin, were addicts, right? And that reality is very much today's reality as well. A lot of colonized people are experiencing addiction, are experiencing struggling with trying to get themselves off of certain drugs, right? And so what we have to remember is that our people are everywhere, and our people are going through a lot of things because of what colonialism puts them under. And so what the Young Lords did, they again asked the hospital, like, hey, can we increase the capacity of the counseling program? Can we increase the capacity, please? They said no. And what did the Young Lords do? They said, okay, we're gonna make it. Right? Yep. And so they were taking care of 2,000 people. Like, that's a lot of people.
That was half of that people who were addicted in the Bronx. There was 4,000 people at the time. They treated 2,000. They treated 50%. That's incredible.
Yeah, and just to see that capacity and that will to make sure that the people in their community that were suffering the most, like one of the groups that was suffering the most, to make sure that they were taken care of, like that will allow them to take care of 50% of that community. That's amazing for just people who are just deciding to organize for their people. Like, and among all the other programs that they're doing, among the free breakfast, among the free clothes, they were able to create apparatus to help people overcome addiction. That's amazing, and that's something we have to aspire to as well, right? We know we got people in our families, or we have people in our own very close lives, or ourselves who have gone through this or are going through this, and we have to make sure that we are including those people and therefore ourselves in this revolution as well. All right, y'all, because that's a huge part of our community.
Yes, and that inclusion, it means organizing alongside them, not being patronizing or anything like that. The young lords, they would be like, this is why you turn to drugs. This is why you're addicted. It's by design. It's on purpose. And by choosing. Oh, thank you so much, Steve.
For Sagittarius season.
Yeah, and by turning to revolution and liberation, it gives you something to fight for. It gives you something to want to get clean for.
Yeah.
And so they organize people who are addicted to fight alongside them, to help organize the rehabilitation programs. And so it wasn't just the young lords, but it was the people who were addicted as well. And they were like, no, we want to get better. We want to get clean. Help us. And so they got the doctor, and then so one doctor came in, and then more doctors came in, more communities member came in. They did it together. They did it collectively. It wasn't just the young lords telling them, you need to get clean. This is how you get clean. It was like, no, let's talk about it. Let's go there. So really appreciated that. And then they treated half of the people who were suffering with addiction.
Yeah, and to bring them into to bring them into the revolution, right? It's just like the first Read That Back we had, right? We are servants of the people, revolutionaries. They equate the two things. To be a revolutionary is to be a servant of the people. To be a revolutionary is not to be some like cosplay warrior, right? Or like some like grand famous thinker. To be a revolutionary is to be a servant of the people. And they said, my people need rehabilitation. My people need counseling to overcome this addiction. And so that's how they decided to serve them. And again, like we talked about in the first Read That Back, you don't serve the people just to serve them. You serve them so that they can become better fighters for their own interests, so that they can join the revolution, so they can fight alongside you. Because for how I see it, I want this revolution to have everybody as possible. Like you don't roll up on a big ass enemy with just a few people. You roll up with as many people as possible, right? So we gotta get everyone we can to roll up. Come on, we gotta get everybody. It's a big bully. This enemy is a giant big bully. It's huge, and so we need so many of us to make it look small, because it really is small. It's just powerful, and the more we have of us, the less powerful it's gonna look. And we want to make sure, we are in the spirit of young lords. They said here, it says, fight drugs to survive, right? That was the mantra for this: fight drugs to survive. And that's what we want to do, is fight what the healthcare system does to you. Fight what the food what do you call it? Like the way that grocery stores are set up and stuff like that. Fight that. Fight the bad foods that are in there so you can survive. Fight what the schools do to you so you can survive. All this is so we can live to see out revolution and to see out that new world that we create. Yeah, I think it's just important for us to really know that whatever we're building is to further that. So if you're in a committee right now, and that you're let's say you're building for Hammer City, or you're building to build up our medical work, or you're in there to build up our curriculum or education. Everything you do is a step to making revolution happen. So always know that's the end you're working toward. Whatever you do, that's the end you're working toward. And so whatever you do, make sure you remind yourself of that, and ask yourself, who's in my committee? Who's in my office? Who's doing this work with me? Does it include everyone in my community? Who can I bring in here? Like, is there some, like, if I'm in the medical industry, maybe there's someone who is going through addiction that can really inform this.
Oh,
hey, Oh, Land Background, thank you for that donation. All these cents.
Colonialism don't make no sense. We got to provide some sense for y'all.
Exactly. But yeah, always look around you and make sure that you know, see who is missing from your office, from your work, who can be there to better inform what you're doing, and make sure that you're looking at all of our people. And I think this next read that back really gets to how the young lawyers started to make a mistake. And they made a mistake about who they thought should be in the room and who should be the focus of the people in the room. And this is in chapter 12, when we see the young lords, they become not the young lords anymore. They become the Puerto Rican Revolutionary Workers Organization. And so they changed their name. They changed their central committee. They're like, they had a retreat, and they were like, we got to redo something, right? And this, and like, I think the source of this division started when they decided to split from the Chicago branch, and there was kind of a misunderstanding of who should be the leader of the revolution. So here it says, a criticism was also raised that YLO in Chicago was not producing the newspaper that progressive elements understood to be a key element in organizing the masses. During that retreat, it was decided to go to Chicago in an effort to convince the Chicago leadership to return to New York so as to train their cadres, who more and more represented the permanently unemployed, which we could call, like, the colonized proletariat, like the most exploited of our people. The organization of Chicago was in a state of disintegration. The division occurred when the Chicago leadership rejected the proposal of the New York leadership. Once the division between New York and Chicago occurred, the leadership of the organization decided to continue using the name Young Lords Party. But at the same time, the left extremist idea of forming a party creates a base for left extremism and also struggles against right opportunism, pushing the organization further and further to the left. One of the ideas that most held back our development, I gotta start this again. One of the ideas that most held back our development was that the lumpen proletariat was the vanguard of the revolution. Oh my God. At the same time, it was said that the working class was conservative because they had much more to lose than other sectors of society and would therefore join the struggle after the other classes. So this is like, it's messy. It's just kind of messy. The thinking's messy, right? Because part of it like makes sense. The working class does have a little bit something to lose because they have a little bit more stuff they can get from the state, right? So, I think something Secretary General Anko said that was very inspiring once was that, when people quote Asada and say we have nothing left to lose but our chains, some of our people do have something left to lose because they have some kind of access to the state, whether that be a college degree or like a job that's like steady and like pays enough, So sometimes we do have those little things to lose. So like the Young Lords, they understood that part. But then they said that what held them back was the idea that the lumpen proletariat, the most exploited of our people, the people who are like working the street corners, the people who are like are always without a job, the people who are living in bus shelters, right, or on benches, that apparently those people are not the vanguard of the revolution. Those people aren't our leadership. That Black Hammer, that is our leadership. We understand that it's the most exploited of our people who will lead this revolution because they don't have anything to lose. That's the whole point. You only have everything to gain by revolution. So that's why they are our leaders, right? And that's our fourth principle of unity. And we have to remember that. And I wanted to see what Ali said real quick. I missed it. Ali had a good point here. Disunity is dangerous for a mass org like this. We got to struggle over principles and get to unity. Exactly, because they had this retreat and they were having so much disunity because the side that said that workers were important was also the side that said we're not reading enough Marx and Lenin. Yeah. And they were like we're not looking at like this European thought. And they also said Mao, but they weren't really talking about Mao because Mao came up like once. And they like this started causing this fragmentation and a fragmentation of the lumpen proletariat, the most exploited people, and like workers, and like kind of like this petty boo attempt to kind of focus on a special class of people. But no, all colonized people are equal. Again, our second principle of unity. That's what I believe. All colonized people are equal. So there's no specific class we're gonna focus on that we feel like needs to be more free or feel like it needs more attention, right? The people who do need the most help to survive through revolution are the most exploited, are the lumpen proletariat. But we have to make sure that we don't like all of a sudden focus on workers, because we're not workers. That's not like, we're not born workers. like this like idea that we're just like people who work. Like, no, I'm a colonized human who doesn't have like his land and resources. So like, that's what I want back. I don't want my job back. Yeah, and just there's a really quick sum that up, like for myself, like the original Young Lords slogan was "Tengo Puerto Rico en mi corazón," was I have Puerto Rico in my heart. So the land question was important first. They understood that they were an anti-imperialist organization that wanted to get the colonizer out of the island of Boriken. They understood that. They understood the land question. But what did they end up saying when they were the Puerto Rican Revolutionary Workers Organization? They said, the workplace must belong to the workers. Like, that was the new slogan. The land question went completely out the window, and they just became a white workers organization, pretty much, right? And it was evident, like in that quote, they had a quote when they're talking about that, saying how like the revolution like fell apart when the Communist Party fell apart. The fact that they said that at that point means they were lost. They got lost, y'all. It's so disappointing. Yeah. I don't know how you feel about that. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, no, it seems like they were really into what was going on with the Communist Party USA, with the Soviet Union, and how it was disintegrating before our eyes, how it was going more and more liberal. It was leading more in towards that imperialist stance. And they were so bought into it that they lost sight of their origins, which was, the freedom of Boriken, the land question. They wanted to get free. They wanted to get the colonizers out. And they started having all of these retreats, working with college students, recruiting college students. It was like, but wait, what about all of the different revolutions going on around the world at the time? We have what's going on in Vietnam, what was going on in Africa, what's going on like all over the world, but they were so focused on Soviet Union. They were so focused on what was going on here in the snakes, and they lost sight of their own community. I feel like they started looking down at the community, and they were like, no, we got to go to the college students. We got to go to these other organizations and start building up with these other organizations, which is nice to have a coalition. But if that's not based around, the land question of colonialism, it's not enough. Capitalism is a symptom of colonialism, right? It started after colonialism, so you gotta go to the root. You gotta maintain the root. Then they went to Puerto Rico, so they split up like a huge amount of their members. They just really lost sight of what was going on here, and it's good to see that they did start to have they were like, okay, yeah, looking back, that wasn't working. They were reflecting on it, but it wasn't quite enough. It was like too little, too late. And that's why it's so important that we have to stay in our communities. We cannot, start seeking opportunism and seeing how we can get ahead ourselves, but how we can get our communities.
Exactly. And when toward the end of the organization, like which is now the PRRWO, whatever it's called, they made the community work like a segment of the organization. Like it became like a part of it rather than the whole thing. They started off like we started off our first Beat That Back. Revolutionaries are servants of the people. That was the definition. And they went from that being the definition to that being like a part of the work, right? They said, okay, we'll serve the people here in this group, but this is going to be the workers' part. And the fact that they separated the two, the fact that they separated the people from the revolutionary stance and from the revolutionary trajectory meant that they were going to be lost. And of course, they can't entirely be blamed for what happened. At this time, COINTELPRO, the state, the FBI has been working to really destroy all these organizations. And they even talk about in this chapter how this this split in the young lords and this like kind of this transition was happening at the same time that the Black Panther Party split. And they were talking about how during that time it was really stressful that everyone felt like they had to choose sides because the organization they considered the prime organization for revolutionary movement was splitting. So then everyone felt like they saying we had to feel like we had to choose sides, and that and so it just shows how much disunity trickles, right? Like it's not just something that it's not like, oh, only you disunite with something. Your disunity can trigger a larger disunity, right? And so that's why if there's something you got a question about, if there's something that you are trying to struggle with it before you let that contradiction grow to something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like this is why we're not liberal about like keeping things to we can't be liberal and keep things to ourselves. Like we don't do that at Black Hammer. We gotta talk about things and struggle to be on the same political line, right? Because that disunity, they clearly see they get organizations like to destroy themselves based off that disunity, just like Ali was saying. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, like Ali said, well said. She said about opportunism and the importance of focusing on communities. Yeah, we're not separate from them. We are part of it. We are revolutionaries that are part of the colonized proletariat.
Yeah.
And so we are our own leadership, and we will always look toward our leadership, our masses of people, our masses of the most, the wretched of the earth, to really us.
No, we are at the mercy of the masses. They tell us, they tell revolutionaries what they want, and then we organize it to make it happen. It's not us telling them this is the future that you need. This is what you should be looking for. No, they tell us what their contradictions are, what their problems are, and we say, all right, how can we fix this?
Yes.
How can we go about fixing this?
Exactly. All right. Well, we need $15 more, y'all. Just as a heads up, we need $15 more to get to our goal. So if we get 3 people to give $5, or someone to drop 10, someone to drop 5, someone to pledge 15, that would be great. So we can meet our goal. That's just a heads up for that. But yeah, I think I'm just thinking about like what this book has meant to me, right? And what this book has meant to like my understanding of what revolution is and what it has to be. And I think again about like my grandmother who like grew up on the island and went to school up only until 8 years old and was like cutting sugarcane until she came to the mainland, meaning the snakes, right? And like what she could have done with an organization like that could support her, like what she could have done for her family, and like who she could have been would have just been amazing. And the stress of like that work that she had to do from age 8 on, that what colonialism did to her, it killed her, and like she died at 58, and it's just like that colonialism will like really take everything that you are and like wring you out dry, right? And like all you're trying to do is like love and build for your family. She was trying to like raise 7, and she had lost a child, 8 kids, right? And she like couldn't, because colonialism wringed out everything like out of her to like completely give everything that she could to like the world that she lived in. And she did like everything that she could, and it was amazing. But it's just that imagine like being able to give everything you have without colonialism like beating on your back or wringing you dry. We have so much potential. We have so much that we're capable of. And I want to make sure that everyone who comes into this revolution, who comes into Black Hammer, is able to give everything that they are and show everything that they can do. That's what the Young Lords really teach me, is that our people are capable of collective brilliance and that we can do anything that we set our mind to. If there's something we see missing in our community, we can create that. If there's something that we see that our people need, we can help them. And that we don't need to be anything special. We don't have to be like a fancy doctor. We don't have to be a fancy specialist. We just have to come together and organize it and figure it out. And the Young Lords really, they understood that, from Chicago to New York to Bridgeport to Hartford to Boston to Florida to Boriken. Like they understood that it just takes collective brilliance, and they faltered when they let go of that idea. They faltered when they let go of the people. And so we always have to hold on to the people. We won't falter if we hold on to the people. We won't fail if we hold on to the people. We will win with the people. And I think that's the big lesson I feel like we get from them.
It's the only way.
It's the only way.
Only way.
And so yeah, I think well, let's see if we could get $5 more from people. If we could, maybe we could get well, we had a couple read that bags, but let's see. Oh, we have a question. Can you explain how colonialism went to capitalism and affected Bodiken and the Young Lords? Yeah, like essentially what Spanish colonialism did to these islands, right? It exploited the indigenous people of these islands, and basically, took the land to produce sugar, to produce coffee, and to produce tobacco, and that system of exploiting the land essentially led to the system of making money off of the land, right? And concentrated all this wealth into the hands of these Spanish colonizers, into other European colonizers. Boriken was colonized by the French too, by Corsica, by all these people, right? And so this impacted Puerto Rico and Boricuas. And Boricuas essentially were under the colonialism of the United States, and that is how we come to like the Young Lords, right? And the Young Lords realized they wanted to end the exploitation of themselves under United States leadership because of the legacy of the Spanish colonizers' leadership, and they wanted to overturn that. So this is what the Young Lords, how they arrived to be, and this is the lessons that we learned from them, that we have to always have our people and always never let them go. And so, yeah. Oh, thank you. Hey, that question got T to donate $10. Hey, I was like, oh, we're going a little bit over, but that's okay, because I was like, it got us a donation, and we made our goal. Hey, thank you all so much for that. Let's get into our announcements. We got some amazing things coming up. We have a new book coming up, so I want to make sure that we can, introduce our next book trap leaders. Hey, come on into the room. Hey, we have 2 new leaders. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Oh, we can't hear you, Amina.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
First. So, yo, what's up, y'all? It's Comrade Cthulhu, and that's Comrade Amina, with me, and we will be hosting the book trap next week on Patrice Lumumba. And this is the first time Black Hammer has done a book trap straight from the motherland, so we're excited. I got my dashiki on, see the material, and it should be exciting. A revolutionary, Patrice Lumumba, and we're gonna tell his story, what he did right and what he did wrong, so we can learn and then move forward for our organization. So.
Oh no, yo! Thank you, Cthulhu. I wish we could hear Amina. I'm not sure what happened. We heard you 2 seconds ago.
Oh no.
Like if Amina maybe could type a message for us that we could share it with the people. But yes, like our comrades Amina and Cthulhu, they're going to be reading a book on Patrice Lumumba, revolutionary African from the Congo, fighting against Belgian colonialism. Right? I know people be like, Belgium, they did something too? Yeah, Belgium did something too, and a lot of something. So we about to learn that. We're going to be reading the introduction to chapter 4. So y'all get that book. We got it in our Black Hammer virtual library. So that's where you can get our book. And you want to make sure that you come into this. We're going all around the world with our book traps. So this is a chance for us to get to the motherland. We have to make sure that we are talking about Africans in Africa as well. We talked about Africans in Haiti through the Black Jacobins, and now we're talking about people in the Congo, right, with Patrice Lumumba. So yeah, I hope we all excited for that. And there's like, OMG, yes, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm excited too, y'all. Again, the collective brilliance. Like all of our book trap hosts are members of our organization who are like just learning and reading and trying just to become better revolutionaries. And so we all get that information by just getting the collective together. So I'm excited. And then go ahead, Kathusa.
I was like, just awesome. Me too.
Yeah. Awesome. And then in terms of other announcements, let's see if Amina, do we got your sound?
Len back. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Len back, y'all. So anyways, self-introduction, Amina here. Looking forward to hosting the book trap for y'all, Patrice Lumumba. They mentioned we're going to be doing an intro to chapter 4, but, I do want to give y'all a quick little breakdown of what we're going to be looking at, right? So, we're going to be looking at the national movement of the Congolese people, all right? And then the contradictions between so-called peasants, the bourgeoisie, and the rising up of the working class Congolese people, all right? So, I'm looking forward to that. Y'all make sure y'all come into the book trap. Make sure you invite your people into the book trap. And look, I want to leave you with a little quote from Patrice Lumumba, all right? Baba Lumumba said, "Neither brutality nor cruelty nor torture will ever bring me to ask for mercy. I prefer to die with my head unbowed," y'all. So look, let's hit this revolutionary book trap head unbowed. And, I look forward to it. See y'all next week and beyond.
Hey, yes. No, I love that. I love that.
Oh, this is about to be lit. Oh,
I know, right? I'm like excited. I was like, I want to go right into it now. I was like, I wish we read it and we could go into it right now. Yeah, no, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be amazing. And Amina and Kathusa are gonna be amazing hosts. So really show them your support, y'all. Come into this book chat, get your family, friends, and other members into it. And let's see revolutionaries across from the indigenous people of Bodiken to the African people in the Congo, right? And to the African people in Bodiken and these are the indigenous people that have been in the Congo. Let's see that amazing that amazing colonized brilliance come to light. And in terms of other announcements, we have our colonizer class. So if you are a colonizer, if you white, we have a way to get you to learn about colonialism. You're probably tired of having genocide in your name, of having drones in your name. Like, we know you're tired of it. So why don't you come and learn how you can end that, right? Don't just be upset about it, end it. So we have our colonizer class, $25 per class session. That's how you can also contribute in reparations to making sure that we can win this revolution. It's every Sunday from 6 to 8 Eastern. You can sign up at tinyurl.com/reparations class. Our students, our many students, rave about it. They, telling their other, colonizer friends hey, join. So that class is happening. And make sure that you all come in this Tuesday to our rally, our public rally, before this, celebration of genocide of indigenous people, right, that we call Thanksgiving. It's just important that we remember, this month especially, that indigenous people have been stripped away from this land in the most violent way that anyone can be, right? And so we want to make sure that we are working towards getting the land back into the hands of the stewards of this land, all right? And getting the land back into the hands of indigenous people, which includes the land of Borinquen, which includes the land of Puerto Rico, Borinquen, all right? So with that, I want to thank you all for, joining me through this, experience with the Young Lords. Thank you to my co-host today, Chief I, and thank you to all my other past co-hosts as well. Y'all take care. Keep on reading. Join us next Sunday for our next book on Patrice Lumumba. And we'll see you for the next book trap, y'all. Land back.
Land back.